All right, we are recording. You guys, I am so excited for this guest that we have lined up tonight. I think you guys are going to walk away with so much like inspiration and tips ready to just like boom the rest of this month. So, without further ado, we have Miss Stacy on here. Stacy, if you don't mind, just give us a brief little intro of who you are and just a little bit about what you did before It Works, and we'll just dive right on into it then.
Sure. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. Such a pleasure. Okay, so my name is Stacy Rapp. I am an Ambassador Diamond. I am a single mom of two little boys, 3 and 5, and I live in Las Vegas. I'm 28 years old, and before It Works, so when I found the business, I was working full-time at a dental office as a receptionist, and I was going to school full-time to graduate or with my bachelor's. And then I was pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant at the time. I was just, like most people understand, I was just working a job to pay the bills. I was not happy there, and I was just doing it because that's what I was told to do. You just got to work and make your way up and all that. And I was going to school at the time to law school, really. And so sorry, am I good?
I'm going to mute everybody real quick, and then I will have you unmute yourself again.
Good. Okay.
Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I was going to school to be a lawyer. That's what I wanted to do. I was, just not happy where I was. Obviously, I joined the business because I was tired of missing out on everything. I was tired of being broke. I was just tired of it all. And so I just decided, why not? I did not know anything about the business. I was 8 months pregnant when I found it. And I didn't have $100, but I was working all the time. I had to borrow it actually from my boyfriend at the time. And so I just jumped in, really. It was like ignorance on fire. I did really well first couple months. And then is it okay to kind of go through my journey? Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
yep, you're good.
okay, cool. So I promoted to executive within like my first month or two, but then I had my son and I kind of used him as my excuse, even though he was my reason, right? I wanted to be around him and I wanted to be that stay-at-home mom to not miss the moments and just focus on school. I used him as my excuse. And I also just really, really cared a lot about what people thought of me. I had friends, from high school, and I was like 22 at the time. So I wasn't super young, I wasn't right out of high school, but I still had those friends who they weren't parents. We just didn't, our lives just started going down different paths. And so they didn't understand anything. And it really affected my business for a whole year. I ended up having to go back to work after maternity leave because, it was that bad. I promoted to executive really fast and then kind of took one foot out because of all the opinions of other people. So I went back to work, and it was a whole year of me just going to work from 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon, and then going to school from 6 to 9 at night, coming home, not seeing my son, waking up early to just get him ready and leave out the door again for daycare. And it was just not a life that I wanted to live. I was always a big dreamer, and I was just like, there's no way that this is just my life. There's no way. And so it was my leader. I don't know what, it was just eye-opening. It was a few things that kind of made me realize, okay, I need to get back in it. This is an opportunity right in front of me. I did really well. I love the product, so I might as well just give it a shot. And if my friends are my friends, they're gonna support me. That's I had nothing else to lose at that point. And she looked at me, and we were texting or whatever, and she's like, you're just not ready right now. I keep trying to motivate you and all this, but you have one foot in and one foot out. And until you decide, then, just come to me when you're ready, kind of thing. And I was like, oh crap. Okay, cool. It is all up to me. And so I'm going to give it everything that I got. So I put my 2 feet in. This was November of 2014. So I signed in September of 2013. So it was about 14 months after I signed up that I realized, okay, I'm all in. And then the next month, the minute I was all in, guys, the next month I went Ruby. And then Christy, my leader, she was like, you have got to come to conference. And it was the next month. And I was like, yeah, right. I'm so broke. There's no way. But I made it happen. I went to my first conference in January of 2015. 2 weeks before, though, I quit my job. And I quit my job, not because I was making money with it work, but because I was so unhappy and I knew that I just could make this work. And I just decided. And so I went to conference. And it blew my mind. I found out I was pregnant at conference. I had to go to the ER. It was just a crazy long story. But I'll never forget it. And the next month I went diamond and I got that $20,000 bonus. And then, so you guys, it took me 14 or 15 months to go ruby. And then once I decided, I went diamond, and then I went double 3 months later. And then the next year I had my son in September of that year. Then the next conference I went triple and prez really fast. So within 18 months of me putting 2 feet in, I went from ruby to presidential. And then life sort of happened for me. And I know one of your questions, Chrissy, was kind of what hurdles have you gone through with the business, and how did you overcome them? Well, I'll talk about it here because this is part of my journey. So I went presidential. The same month I went presidential, I graduated from college finally, and we moved into our first home. And at this time, I was still with my kid's dad. We had gotten married and we had 2 kids, and so we were together. But then we moved into our new home. I graduated college as presidential. I mean, on top of the world, right? It was a few months later, though, when we decided to get a separation. And so it was really troubling. Obviously, you know, if you've ever gone through separation or divorce, it's emotionally draining. And when there's kids involved, it's a lot. And so that was in August of 2016, just a few months after I promoted to presidential. And then it was like a whole year of custody battles and all of that stuff. And so during that year, my business was stagnant. Now, it wasn't me not working. I always knew that you have to be consistent in this business. I mean, it took me 15 months to go ruby. And I realized, you know, it's because I was not consistent. I was in and out. But I told myself, this is a reason I can be a single mom and still be with my kids when I have them, is because I was so consistent. So I was presidential for almost, so almost 3 years. I was presidential, sitting at presidential for 3 years. And a lot of things happened. I got the divorce. It was finalized, and then I was on the road to finding myself and learning how to be a single mom and still work my business, and managing all that, it's crazy. It's not easy. And I don't think that there's anything as balanced, to be honest, but, it was a few months later then I was at this really affected me personally. And I was at the Route 91 concert in Las Vegas, and I was a part of that. And I, experienced some traumatic events, and it just still to this day, it affects me. But instead of my business, obviously, I stopped it for probably a month. I was just, I had to deal with my emotions and all that. But I was talking to my mom one day after that, and I was like, you know what? I am so grateful that I have this business, even though it's really hard to promote and to be happy on social media right now when this horrible thing has happened. There's a reason I can grieve, and I don't have to call in sick, and I don't have to ask for time off, and I don't have to, let anybody dictate when I can't cry. You know what I mean? And so that's when I really opened my eyes to what we have, and the possibilities, and how no matter what we go through, you can still work your business, because it's just a thing that you just put in your life every day. And so anyways, going to Ambassador, last year was just all about building and creating leaders. And my goal was to be ambassador last year, but that just never happened. But I just kept going and going and going. And then it was December. So just this last December, about 6 months ago, I was just not in a very good place personally. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use conference as a deciding factor if I'm just really going to keep going at my all. Because you guys, it had been 3 years and I was working for the same thing, and I was always working, but sometimes our team isn't really up there still and you can't catch the vision for them. And so it was draining, it's a business. But anyways, I went to conference and it blew my mind. They changed the charts. I mean, I don't know what was going through my head when I was thinking this, giving myself an ultimatum. But at the end of the day, it worked out. And I was like, okay, yeah, right. I am home. I am in this and I'm going ambassador. And so I went ambassador the next month. So I went March of this year. And yeah, it's been amazing. Such a journey.
I love, and I never realized this before, but I love how much our stories are very much similar. Like it took me 1.5 years to go Ruby. It took me 1.5 years to go to conference to really truly see the light. So do you feel like conference was that game changer for you to go from having 1 foot in to having 2 feet into the business now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't even describe the way that it makes you feel. Events just and the company has changed and grown and gotten even better since then, and so if you haven't been to an event yet, you just got to go. And if you went to your first one just this year, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's so inspirational. You hear stories, people on stage that are just like you. They're normal people, but they just want more in their life, and they don't not have hardships. Everybody does, but it's just their mentality and how they use their why as their forefront instead of all those excuses that we sometimes give ourselves.
Absolutely. That's so true. And something that I really loved, and I wrote this down that you said and throughout your story, was 6 months ago, you weren't in a good place. And I could probably bet that 6 months ago, if you would have told yourself that you would have been Ambassador Diamond and working on your 2.0 spot, like you probably wouldn't have believed it. But it's just so crazy as to what can happen in our lives and in our business in just 6 months. Like, so if you're doubting yourself and you have this self-doubt going on, like life can change and business can change and you can be in a completely different spot 6 months from now as long as you don't quit this business. So that should be a huge learning lesson for you guys. So I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit. And I am sure every single one of us have seen your killer before and after pictures floating all around social media because they are freaking amazing. So kind of share with us like how that has transformed your business and what kind of effect it's had on your business, having such an amazing testimony with our products.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know if any of you guys can relate, but I was overweight for all of after my pregnancies. It happens, and you get down on yourself and the confidence levels go down. And I thinking back, I don't know how I went presidential. I mean, I worked really hard, but I wasn't as consistent with the products that I am now. Part of it is because the products we have now are just absolutely amazing. But I don't know. I was in a dark place. It was right after the shooting, and I was like, okay, I gotta just get myself healthy. Really, is what it came down to. I didn't really do it to transform my business, although that's a huge bonus. I just wanted to get healthy, and I was like, I have these amazing products. I might as well use them and show my results. And so I did. I took people on that journey with me, and I think that's the most important thing. You want to lose weight, you lose weight, you have a great before and afters, that's awesome. But taking people on that journey with you, telling them when you've lost a pound or two, or maybe when you've slipped up, but yet the products have helped you, or, the energy or the confidence, like people are just, I mean, I still to this day, from my results, because I'll still share them, people trust me and they want to buy from me versus just buying the products. They see that it works for me. They see how much I love it and how passionate I am about it. I get made fun of all the time. Like my boyfriend, he'll just be like, my stomach hurts. Like, what product should I take for that? Or like just all these things. And I love these products. People know that, people see that, and that's really transformed. And having those before and afters, people trust you. And I think that's a huge thing. You got to build that trust. And if you're not willing to invest in the products that you are trying to get other people to buy, then you're really not going to be that successful. You have to use the products that you're promoting, and people will trust you when you're using it and you're showing people that you're using it every day. I mean, I wake up and I make my coffee and greens every single morning, and I'm putting that on my story every single morning, whether it's a video or a boomerang or just a picture of me drinking it. It's every single day I plant that seed. Same along with all the other products that I use. I mean, I'm drinking collagen right now because I'm just, I love it. So yeah.
That is so perfect. And I say this all the time. And so people are probably like, Chrissy, we hear this all the time. But I heard this once at an event and it was so true. And I think it was Sherry Lynn. She said, the opportunity will never change your life unless you allow the products to do it first. And it is so true, because if you guys are not passionate about these products, like, it's just so hard to share something that you don't really know nothing about because you haven't tried it or you haven't tasted it. So like, my biggest tip for you guys is find 1 to 3 products and just gain a personal testimony on those. And that's going to truly transform everything for you. Because when people see you using it, like you said, they just trust you. And I am on my stories every single morning with my keto coffee and my chocolate greens. And you guys, it's going to feel like so repetitive, and it's okay, because it's that repetitiveness that people are like, okay, I see you do this every single morning. Tell me more about this. And it'll help you so much with your business here. So, okay, we'll switch gears again. How would you say you build your business? Like, do you feel like it is majority host of posts or messaging or stories? I know you do a really good job with like attraction marketing and branding you, but how would you feel like is the majority of how you build your business?
So I would say it's between stories and messaging. I've done HAP. I've tried HAP. I still to this day will ask people to do HAP if they're not ordering from me. Like, if I'm talking to somebody, they're going to do something for me, and HAP's the last resort. But the big thing for me, guys, I message every day, at least 100 people. It's just like clockwork for me. Some people kind of get turned off by it because they don't want a cold message. And I don't consider what I do cold messaging, because I'm not just messaging anybody and everybody that is not following me. I've never talked to, never liked my stuff, never looked at anything of mine. It's people who are constantly or consistently watching my stories. Like, if I have like 6 slides with something and I go to the 6th one and I see who's watching, even though people may just like do this, I'm like, okay, they stuck around. I'm going to message them. I'm going to see if they're interested. That's really what I do. Same with business. I'll offer the business to people. Instagram is my jam right now. It used to be both Facebook and Instagram, but I just feel like Instagram, you can just do a lot more, a lot quicker. And so I've just been really, really working on my Instagram. I will send out messages to people who I genuinely think would kill it, who just have a big following, or maybe they just seem super fun. They post a lot. They're really interactive on their stories, things that they're already doing. And I can add this opportunity into their life to create more value. And that's the way that I look at it. If you go into messaging thinking like, oh, they're not going to want this, I'm really nervous. Like, what if they say no? It's not our job to judge if somebody wants it or not. Like, there's a reason you're here. Why couldn't that be the same reason, or maybe just a different reason somebody else needs to be here? And so that's kind of the mentality that you have to do. You have to go into messaging with. Lauren, I will. I send the message to my story viewers. I actually posted it on the Lifers page. There's like comments in the Lifers page. But I'll just read it to you really quick. I have them all in text replacement too. So if somebody views my story about a product, I will message this. Let's see. I actually do the hey girl quick question for everything. So for every first message, I do hey girl quick question. Instagram viewers, people I'm following, interacting with, whatever. Hey girl quick question. And then if they view a product story, I will say, I was curious if you'd like to be a product tester for me. My team and I are always working so hard to help each other reach their goals, and I absolutely love these products. I know you would too. I'll give you my personal discount. Can I give you more info? That's what I say. And then when they say, sure, more info, please, I will say, Okay, cool. So it's a health and wellness company. I have over 40 products from weight loss, skincare, body contouring, hair growth, detox, energy, etc. What I'm looking for is someone who either needs to lose weight, tighten up, grow their hair out, and or needs energy. All you do is share your testimony or results with me, and I'll give you my personal discount. Do you have any specific goals? And so then I just break it down from there.
On Lifers, I'm like, oh, I'm saving that one, and I put it in my. So I use WordBoard instead of the text replacement, so that way I don't have to like remember what each of them are. But I loved how you said my team and I, and I think that was so perfect. And whether you're using WordBoard or text replacement, I love that, because for me, whenever I use that versus me having to try and type up the whole thing, as I'm trying to type it up, I feel like as I'm doing it, I'm doubting myself, and I'm starting to be like, okay, what's this person going to respond on the other end? Are they going to like being angry that I'm messaging them or something like that? But if I'm using text replacement or my word board, I feel like it just takes the guesswork out of it. I don't have the guilt of messaging anybody. I'm just sending that button or pressing that button, and it literally takes 2 seconds to send it. And you can get those messages out so quick within just a 10-minute span.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I used to, even to this day, guys, sometimes I'm like, I get nervous when I message, but just having it there, and you can have it, like I have my text replacement and it pops up real quick. Now, sometimes I'll add a name. Sometimes I'll add like a pet name, if they're like super cute, I'll just call them like cutie or something. I don't know, just with emojis. I'll be personal. Maybe if we've mentioned, or if I've mentioned it before, I'll say, I know I've mentioned it prior, but when I'm talking about the business or something. But you kind of personalize each message. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing every time, but it's just really super easy, non-pushy way. And I just ask, can I give you more info? A lot of people say no, I'm okay, and I'm like, okay, thanks, girl, no worries. If you ever change your mind, let me know. And guys, I'm still planting that seed. I'm still going to interact with them. They're going to start seeing my stuff, and it's never a lose situation. It's always a win-win in my eyes. And if they want to delete and block me, that's cool. They weren't meant to be in my business, so.
I want to add that people told you no and you're still here. Like you're still physically here and somebody told you no. So even if somebody tells us no, guys, like it's not the end of the world. They are not saying no to us. They're just saying no to the products or the opportunity right now. Okay. Because I was a no for several times, but I'm here today. So they're going to eventually come around. And if they don't, somebody else is going to come around, but we've just got to get in those inboxes. And it can be scary at first, but if you're doing the text replacement or whatever it is, it just takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it. But I promise you, the more you guys get into those inboxes, the easier it's going to be. And just doing that routine every day, I truly do feel like getting in inboxes, sending those messages is just as important as us being on our stories, us engaging, and us expanding our network. It is right up there with it, because we can't just sit back and kind of be the fisherman and just wait for people to come to us. So we just really got to take the bull by the horns and just get in those inboxes.
Yeah, and I think it's actually, it all kind of comes together. But when you're passionate about your product, and you know that and you go into it knowing they want these products, who doesn't want these products? Who doesn't need this business? It's changed my life. Even if you're just making a couple $100 a month, that's $200 more than you had last month. And so who doesn't want to make extra money, and who doesn't want to look good and feel good, And so that's just, you have to have that mentality when you're messaging as well. If you're doing it in a genuine way, and knowing these people are going to love the products, and you're going to do your best to recommend the right products for their goals, then you're just fine. And so there's no reason to overthink it. Just send it and at least watch your hundreds list grow and grow and grow. I try to go for 10 no's every single day. That's just because it's a numbers game, and if the more you message, the more it's going to say no, but the more it's going to say yes too. So
It is truly such a numbers game. And I was talking to somebody the other day, I don't even remember who it was, but I'm like, you just got to go for the no's. Like they might be scary, but you've just got to go for them, because if you're getting the no's, then that means you're talking to somebody. We're asking them about the products and the opportunity, because if we're not getting any no's, then we're truly not doing enough for our business here today. So that was so perfect. Okay. So I have loved following you for quite some time now, and I just feel like you do such an amazing job of just attracting people to your social. Like I feel like I know you so well just by following you on Facebook. So how do you feel like you've done such a good job at branding you and just doing that on your social? And kind of like, how would you recommend a new distributor to kind of go out and brand themselves? Because we know how important that is within our business right now.
Yeah, definitely. The best thing I can tell you guys is probably not the best thing, but you are not It Works. You are a part of it. It's a part of your life. So sprinkle in It Works into your everyday life. So what do you normally do? Before It Works, what did you do? Just do that, document it a little bit more, make the pictures pretty, make them bright, be interactive, ask interactive things like questions that people have to have an answer to. Just share your life in a positive way, and just be real and authentic. Honestly, it's so, sometimes I overthink when I'm posting, and I'm like, I just got to be myself. And people end up appreciating me and who I am and my authenticity, and I love that. And so I just keep doing what I'm doing. I am a single mom with two boys, two crazy boys. I have a man named Texas that he's like super famous now because of Facebook. Poor guy. Yeah, I don't try to be everything because we are not everything. I think I really struggled with that, comparing and looking at other people's pages and being like, well, why can't I post like that? Or why do I not look like that? It's just not who I am. And if I want to not mentally break down, I just got to do what I got to do. I got to stay in my lane and be who I am, interact with my feed, make sure that I'm, just being honest with people about the business. I'll talk about, shopping in the morning, and I was able to help some people get started on their business. It's just, I post my everyday life, but I just sprinkle in It Works,
That is absolutely perfect. And how amazing is it that we truly do get paid to become the best version of ourselves here, and we just document that on social? That is something that I truly love about this. And I say it all the time, but It Works as a brand. It is, and they've already done an amazing job at that. We've just got to work on us and just work on growing this. So I think that's perfect. Okay, so we'll we'll back up a little bit. And I know you said you were stuck at Presidential for 3 years. And while Presidential is an amazing rank, we all know that, but it's a mind game whenever we get stuck at a rank for a while. Like, you kind of question your worthiness and why you can't move on to the next level. So kind of just give some insight and some tips to somebody that maybe feels like they're just stuck at where they're at right now, and they feel like they're ready for the next level, but they're not sure how to get there.
Okay, so first things first is you have to have the belief that it's going to happen. And with that, you have to do self-development. If you are not on your self-development game, if you're not reading, if you're not listening to videos or podcasts or something that you genuinely fill yourself up with, and that means that you feel happy, you feel full, you feel, your heart is pounding, you get all those emotions when you're listening or when you're doing these things. You have to fill up your cup, and you've got to believe that it's going to happen. If your cup is not filled, there's no way in heck that you're going to be able to pour into your leaders. And if you want to go to the next rank, it means that you've got to level up your leadership, you've got to level up your work, and you've got to level up that belief in yourself. Because there are times when, even just in December, I did not believe in myself, and it was either quit, which is just crazy to even think about, quit or give it my all. And so, like, what's the alternative? If you quit, what is the alternative? So why not just give 100% into this? And that means 100% into yourself to grow stronger, mentally, emotionally, as a leader, as a businesswoman, and just deciding that you're doing it. You're leveling up your work. You're doing more every single day. And you don't question it. I think it was Denise Walsh. She did a live, I think it was a few years ago, honestly. And she was just talking about how it's harder to be 99% committed versus 100% committed, because at 99%, you're still thinking about if you're going to do it or not. But at 100%, you're not thinking about it. You're just doing it. And so that's kind of the mentality I had. I'm just going to do it. I don't know how it's going to happen. And I got trapped in the how for 3 years. How is this going to happen? With everything going on, some of my leaders not like slowing down, maybe they've quit or whatever. How is it going to happen? I know it's going to, but how is it going to happen? And instead of focusing on the how, have your why. Make sure that you're always running with the why. Why are you here? Why do you want that? Like, what will it feel like to get that? And just do the work, you guys. Every day it's consistently, we do the same thing every single day. Let's be real. It can get pretty boring or pretty repetitive, but when you do it with passion and you're doing it with intention, you're not just going through the motions. It feels good. It's exciting. It's fun again. Sometimes I felt like my business wasn't fun, and it was because I just kept thinking about how it's going to happen. I kept focusing on what people aren't doing instead of just working from the front, leading from the front, doing the things that I tell everybody else to do every single day with a positive attitude, with some intention, working on myself. And it just happened. I can't even tell you how it happened, but it did, because my team saw the fire. They saw me working every day, and they just wanted to run with that. And so, yeah.
Perfection. I want to repeat one thing that you said in there, and that was Denise's quote there was, it's harder to be 99% committed here than 100%. And that is just spot on. It is so true. And I absolutely love that you said that. What would you say your favorite way to do personal development is, or what's your favorite book, or your favorite way to kind of just work on you?
Audiobooks. It's changed. So I'm a busy mom, and a lot going on. I don't have time to sit and read, although I would love to do that. But even working from my phone, it's hard to concentrate on a book. But audiobook, I just started doing audiobook probably like 3 or 4 months ago. Before that, I was doing maybe podcasts, which are still good, still awesome to listen to, but audiobooks. So Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face, and her other book, Girl Stop Apologizing. I mean, those books are so relatable to so many people. And if you're in this business, you need to read those, because it just talks about confidence and comparing and, and all those things that us women deal with, that we go throughout our lives. And so listen to those or read those. I mean, seriously, amazing. And right now I'm listening to a leadership book called Start With Why. And I love to just listen, because I can drive and listen. I can get ready and listen. I can do this a lot more. And so I find myself listening to a lot more books. I have on my dream board right here, 1 book a month, and I've definitely surpassed that because of audiobooks. And so, Start With Why right now. It's a leadership book just talking about, obviously, leading with your why and not who or what or how or any of those other things. And so other books, I would go Pro, I would say, for anyone new. Honestly, GoPro is a really good one. Gosh, I've read so many, but they're all good. Just find one and try it, you guys. Audiobooks, I think it's like $15 a month and you can get unlimited. But yeah, I mean, read, listen. Podcasts are great too. Jenna Kutcher, if you've heard of her, or even the Rachel Hollis podcast, she's great. Tony Robbins. Yeah, there's so many different ways to get inspired and do some self-development, and you've got to find yours. You've got to find it the way that you like to do it, whether it's reading or listening or, podcasts or just short little videos throughout the day or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for me, whenever I was first in the business, I felt like I was too good for personal development, or I felt like I needed to wait until I wasn't at a good place to where I needed to do personal development. And I feel like sometimes we wait until we are like, okay, now I need the personal development before we start the personal development. And if we were to just focus on that every single day, it's amazing how whenever we do hit those speed bumps and those hurdles within our business, how much faster we could go over them and get through them versus having to kind of pick ourselves back up because we haven't been working on the personal development. I think it's so crucial that we need to be focusing on that every day. And it's hard for some people, I feel like, to wrap their brain around when we are in such momentum right now, to almost like not feel guilty whenever you're working on your mind here. But it is just as important right now in a busy month versus a slower month that we've got to be working on this. So I love all of the books that you said. They are some of my favorites as well too. So, okay, now let's you've been in the business for 5.5 years now, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. And a lot has happened in 5.5 years, and we've learned so much in this time. So, what is something or a few things that you know now that you wish you would have known whenever you were a brand new distributor in the business?
Well, it's funny you asked that when I read that earlier because I just started my 2.0, and so I'm basically starting over again, and it's fun. It's so much more fun this time because I know everything that a new distributor should know or would want to know. The unfortunate thing that we should know that is that not everybody's going to run with you. Not everybody is going to do this or see the vision like you do or work as hard as you do or want this as badly as you do. Unfortunately, some are in your business for a short little while. Some just don't even ever start really, and then there's some you have some aces and some that do run with you, and it's completely worth it. So on my 2.0, I need 4 more to be charted diamond, and only 2 or 3 are consistently working. And I knew that, I mean, that's just part of the business. Now my team is so big that it's hard to fathom only 2 or 3 people working in my business, but that's the truth. And on my 2.0, and it's normal. It's me. Like I mean, I would love if everybody, got their 4 little customers on their own and, went Ruby on their own. That'd be so great. I would love that so much. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. And so since I know that, it's just a lot more fun. I'm able to, and I train everybody the same. And so even if people quit on you or they just don't ever start, don't think it's you because it's always them. It's not you thinking or don't think that you're doing something wrong or you said something wrong. It's not you at all because if they want this business, whether you train them or not, they will find a way to make this happen. And I really believe that. And so, not everybody's going to see the vision that you do, but you will find those rock stars. And so you have to keep going. You have to keep sending those messages, keep getting those no's because that yes is right around the corner. And it may be the yes that changes your entire business.
Amen. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, so we have about 5 or so minutes left. I wanted to keep this right about 45 minutes. So is there anything else you want to end us off with here? Any inspiration, any last minute tips, whatever you got for us?
Okay. Well, put me on the spot. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, well, I know green carpet tickets are sold out. So if you got one, good for you. It's going to be amazing. But for those who didn't, or you've never been to an event, find a local event. They are very, very helpful. They just help you understand more of the community of who we are and what we're about. It's always amazing to be around people who are so inspired and who are willing to give up their time to talk to you and to inspire you and help you build your business. And you'll make some of your best friends at, whether it be your uplines, sidelines, or downlines. Like, some of my best friends are my sidelines. We don't make any money off of each other, but I've met them through events and it's been, a blessing. And so go to an event, get inspired. And yeah, I mean, if you feel uninspired, the only answer is to get inspired. And so what I recommend for that is finding a local event. Just go to your It Works page, click events and see what's around. And that is for sure something I'll leave you with because I think I said everything else.
That was so perfect. Stacy, like you seriously nailed the head on everything tonight. I took away so many aha moments and nuggets, and I just appreciate you for just taking the time to pour into our team and sharing all of your wealth over the past 5.5 years. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we are cheering you on that 2.0 spot to claim diamond soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody.